So, a curious article today on ESPN about where Georgia is for the future of its quarterbacks. And Adam Rittenberg wrote this, and he's mainly a Big Ten reporter. In it, he has Georgia as the sixth best situation for quarterbacks. I'm curious to think if y'all think that's the same thing. His top 10 goes Ohio State, SC, Alabama, Texas A&M, Georgia, Miami, Oklahoma, Texas, NC State, and then Michigan. Those are the top 10 future quarterback rankings. I'm just going to tell you that this is the sort of stuff that we do in the off season. Um, but I I personally wouldn't put Texas A&M in front of Georgia in terms of who they've recruited and so forth. The other thing that's interesting in the article is not necessarily something I agree with. I don't know if we have enough data to believe that this is true. Um, he says, talking about Georgia's quarterback situation, Georgia's quarterback outlet is always fascinating, even after the national champion national title, and with returning starter Stetson Bennett. Coach Kirby Smart's program is less quarterback reliant than others, but Bennett stepped up in the playoff when his team needed him in the fourth quarter against Alabama. Bennett should have a victory lap type of season this fall after passing for yada yada. He will be working under coordinator Todd Monken again, and he has the confidence and respect of the Georgia locker room. But he will likely be pushed by Brock Vandagriff and others. Let me stop there. I think I mean, from behind the scenes, yes, Brock Vandagriff has gotten better, but I'm not sure as it stands today there is any one person that's going to push Stetson Bennett. Um, I think I mean, I'm not aware that Vandagriff has passed Carson Beck, so I may be behind the time, not know enough on that front. But let me go on to read. Vandagriff, ESPN's number 37 overall recruit in the 21 class, spent last year watching and learning behind Bennett and JT Daniels. He also was behind Carson Beck, but likely envisions 2022 as his time to shine. He joined Georgia's quarterback room by Carson Beck, who saw limited action in 4 games last season. Georgia also added Gunnar Stockton, yada yada. Georgia remains in the running for Arch Manning, one of the most decorated quarterback recruits in recent history. We'll know a lot more in the coming days. I mean, spring football is here, and we're right on top of it. Make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION. Um, you know, it's we're still talking about national championships. It was only about 2 months ago, 2 months ago today actually. So make sure you're picking it up. It's a great way to commemorate the season. The forward is by Jeff Foxworthy, notable comedian and movie superstar, if you want to call it. Are you a superstar, Jeff? Certainly a very notable comedian. But when you start talking about the quarterbacks, uh, I don't know that there are any rules to begin with. I am assuming Stetson Bennett will start this season. I've been around Georgia long enough to know, excuse me, that the person that starts the season has not finished the season 3 times, 4 times at Georgia, and that would be 16, 17, 20, and 21. So 4 times in that period of time. Um, the starter at the beginning of the year has not finished for any number of reasons, twice injuries. But the this is exactly the type of article that that you get in the off season saying a person will be pushed. I mean, I just I don't think I would single Brock Vandagriff out. Um, and that's not passing any judgment on Brock Vandagriff, who I think can be a superb quarterback at Georgia. Same thing with Gunnar Stockton, and honestly, the same thing with Carson Beck. I was talking with someone earlier today. Well, I was talking with Matt DeBerry earlier today too, and I said to Matt, I mean, is there a guy at Georgia on their roster at quarterback that couldn't win them a national championship? The immediate answer was no, they can all win it. So I think they're in as good a position as anyone nationally. I think USC probably has one of the best situations because they currently have a very good young quarterback. CJ Stroud at Ohio State, you can say the same thing. Alabama with Bryce Young, who's not that young anymore. This will probably be his last season. Um, I don't know how you can put a lot of. I don't think you can put anybody else in front of them. Like, Texas A&M's got Max Johnson and Haynes King, who I guess are. Georgia's returning the guy that won the national championship and was the MVP of that game, and I believe the Orange Bowl. Oklahoma, he's got Oklahoma at number 7. I got to tell you right now, I don't know who the hell the quarterback's going to be at Oklahoma this fall. So I can't say that that's a good situation. And I'm not suggesting that Rittenberg's saying these are good situations, but I I like where Georgia is at uh, with quarterback. Um, you know, like he's got Michigan at number 10, and I'll tell you right now, he knows a lot more about Michigan than I do. But it seems like that's a real big fight between McNamara and McCarthy. McCarthy is certainly pushing McNamara. We saw him play in that game in the Orange Bowl. We didn't see another quarterback in Georgia's game with Michigan. So I think that's the big thing. When you start talking about what is, where are we at with the quarterbacks and so forth, there's only 2 pictures of quarterbacks in all of DAWGSTRUCTION. And the one guy is very possibly going to Oregon State. You know, we got to see this ball tucked in a little bit better right here, right? I mean, that ball is flopping out there, waiting to get stripped. But Stetson did a very good job at the end of this season. He did a very good job every game except this game, which was the Alabama game against Georgia and in Atlanta specifically. And then he didn't play well the first half against Alabama, and then he all of a sudden played unbelievable in the fourth quarter. So to me, I don't know who's going to push Stetson Bennett, but I know someone will. I'm not as certain that it's going to be Brock Vandagriff as much as it's going to be anybody. They're all going to push this guy. There is no clear person to me that's the backup. There's no clear person. Now, Carson Beck had a very good spring last year. He did, and it was I mean, he was emerging as the 2. But I don't know if something happened or if Stetson just performed when he needed to perform leading up to the UAB game, or maybe I think it was in August that Stetson had a good August. But the figuring out quarterbacks at Georgia under Kirby Smart has been a black box. It has been very complicated to figure out. But in total, I think they have one of the best quarterback situations they've had in a long time. These guys are gifted, they're very good, and honestly, all 4 guys at Georgia can win the national championship as quarterback. And they might all 4 get a chance. We'll see. Tell me what you think. Make sure you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION below. Thanks for all the support. We'll see you on the website.